Hey everyone. So for this week, I'm going to challenge each and every one of you to do a home energy audit. And what we're going to do, we've been learning about how we, through our lifestyle, can produce different types of footprints, whether they're primary footprint or secondary footprint. And the footprints we've looked at so far have been carbon footprints. So whenever we burn fossil fuels, to produce electricity or to transport things, or in the process of making something, we produce carbon dioxide. And carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. And along the way, we can produce greenhouse gases from a whole bunch of other things as well. One of the things that's a really bad greenhouse gas is water vapor. And a lot of times it's not talked about, but it's a pretty big greenhouse gas. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to take you through introducing you to the concept of a home energy audit, and it's a very simple activity, and then you're going to hop on Seesaw and carry it out. So let's jump into it right now. So we'll start with a little introduction into what the energy audit is. So energy plays a fundamental role in the way we live our lives. Energy keeps our homes at a comfortable temperature, heats our water, lights our lights, chills our food, and keeps our televisions and other appliances running. All this requires a lot of energy. Households consume nearly 1/5 of the total energy used in the United States in each year. And that would be pretty similar for Canada as well. Actually, before I jump into this, I just want to show you guys something right here. See that little number 1 there? That is going to be either a footnote or endnote. That number 1 corresponds with the fact that this sentence right here had facts in it. And the facts had to come from research. And so what we as a reader can do is we can scroll until we see a number 1, and that's probably, oh, here it is. Here's that number 1. So what that tells us is that the information from that sentence came from this source right here, the U.S. Department of Energy, Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy 2007 Buildings Energy Data Booklet. So what that does is it tells us a few things. It tells us, number 1, who wrote it. All right. And then what was the title of that publication. Okay. And then where in the document we can get this. And this is part of what we call referencing, and it's super important. So that sentence, we'll go back to it because it's a good one. All right, it's got some information that you can't just make up. You had to get it from somewhere. And so this is how we show when we do, whenever we prepare a report or something like this, or in this case, an activity for learning, we have to reference information that we research. We can't just say we made it up ourselves. That would be called academic dishonesty. So, really important little side note there. Most of this energy is generated by burning fossil fuels, coal, natural gas, and oil, which results in greenhouse gas emissions. And we know that. Home energy use contributes 20% of the nation's annual carbon dioxide CO2 emissions from fossil fuel combustion. So there's another fact. Home energy use contributes 20% of the nation's annual CO2 emissions in the form of fossil fuel combustion. And again, this is for the US, but Canada would be very similar. Figure 1 below compares the CO2 emissions from different household energy categories. Finding ways to use less energy more efficiently is important to reducing our climate impact. So what we can do is we can look at all these different categories, and some of them we can change and others we can't really change too much. Or some of them we can make real simple changes to how we buy things and stuff like that. Other ones would take a lot of money. And so we're going to examine that right now. In this activity, you will conduct an energy audit of your home to assess its energy efficiency. You will investigate some of the features that make a building an energy waster or an energy saver. So So that's important. We want to see if we're an energy waster, bad, or an energy saver, good. And identify steps you can take to reduce how much energy you use, and ultimately, how much CO2 is generated by your household energy consumption. Use less energy. It may seem obvious, but using less or conserving energy is a straightforward strategy for reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Energy conservation involves reducing or eliminating unnecessary energy or energy use or loss. So we want to reduce how much energy we are losing. Turning down your thermostat when you're not home, for example, is a conservation strategy. So conservation means we're trying to reduce how much energy we use. And this is one example right here of something that we can do differently. And that would impact our heating. So this is an example of how we could do something very straightforward at home, and it can maybe reduce the amount of CO2 we produce just by heating our homes. And in Canada, that's really important because it's cold here for a long, long time. Your heater isn't working to keep an empty house warm, which means it uses less energy than if it were kept on all day. Turning off lights when you don't need them and taking shorter showers are additional examples of conservation. So this is that term conservation coming here again, and we have two more examples. Energy can also be conserved if your home has certain design features, such as south-facing windows. I wonder why that would be. South-facing windows receive more direct sunlight. In northern Ontario, that's important. And the natural energy from the sun can increase the interior temperature of our homes. In the winter, the solar energy can offset the amount of energy that would otherwise be used to heat the room. So instead of burning natural gas like most of us do, or turning on an electric heater, that doesn't have to work as much if we're getting heat from the sun and our thermostat says, hey, the furnace doesn't need to turn on because the house is already warm enough. In the summer, closing window shades can help keep that room cool. Deciduous trees outside south and west facing windows also provide summer shade. So in the US, this is really important. Now I know it does get hot here for about 2 months, but we really don't need to go crazy on our air conditioning. Use energy more efficiently. Energy efficiency refers to products or systems that use less energy. So this is different than conservation. Energy efficiency refers to products or systems that use less energy to do the same or better job than others. Consider light bulbs. For example, compact fluorescent light bulb, CFL, is more efficient than standard incandescent light bulb. For the same amount of light, CFLs use up to 75% less energy. In fact, LEDs use even less. So an example of energy efficiency is your light bulbs. LEDs are the best. And then comes compact CFLs. And then the fluorescents. Those are the worst. These are the best because they use less energy. So it's a more efficient system, and you can change out your old light bulbs as they burn out and put LEDs in. And LEDs are now getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And LEDs last a lot longer than CFLs as well. For the Plus, they can last up to 10 times longer. LEDs last way longer than CFLs even. So by using CFLs or LEDs and taking other steps to make your homes as energy efficient as possible, we can get more out of every unit of energy we consume. For your home energy audit, we will examine a variety of features and behaviors that affect home energy use, such as windows, insulation, heating system, water use, and electricity. In each category, identify the features and behaviors in effect at your home and whether they represent energy efficiency or energy conservation, or an energy conservation feature or behavior. When you have completed the audit, you will discuss your results in Seesaw. So it's not going to be in class, it's going to be in Seesaw. And what we're going to do is get you guys to brainstorm ways that you can use less energy at home, and we're going to put everyone's ideas together so we can see what everyone's seeing. So this is what your audit's going to look like. Right here, what I've done is I've taken out the comments section of it because this is what I want to focus on. So this is a very simple thing. I want you to just check things off really quickly. So do most windows face south? Yes or no? If only a few of them face south, then it would be no. If say you have 20 windows and 10 of them face south, then you could say yes because half of them do. But if only a few of them do, then I would say no. Now you have to ask yourself, is that energy efficiency or conservation? So is that a behavior that you're doing to reduce energy use, or is it something that's a device that's built in that's more efficient? So if you're not sure, you can always go back up and take a look and say, where did they talk about self-facing windows? Oh, self-facing windows, conservation. And so then you can say, oh, okay, that's a conservation. All right. Now, what I would like you to do in your activity is you're going to go through and check all this off, and I would like you to make a quick audio recording for each page, just explaining, because I've broken this up into a few pages, why you chose something as energy efficiency versus conservation. And don't worry if you get it wrong, because I'm going to give you feedback on it. Sometimes some of these things may be tricky to determine the difference. Well, once you're all done, there's some questions that I've asked that I want you to do. Oh, I don't have them here, but they're in the activity. And you'll just go through and you can either type your answers out or, again, make another audio recording. All right? Awesome. So good luck with your energy audits. You'll probably need to ask your parents a little bit about it. And don't worry, you've got a whole week to get it done. And if you have any questions, just message me on Edsby and I can give you a hand. Good luck, kids.